On another issue, I refer to a story in a Sunday paper by Miranda Devine in relation to this BTN, Behind the News. Are you familiar with the story, any of you?
Yes, I certainly am, Senator.
Yeah, this is very concerning. A school teacher obviously did the interview with Miranda Devine. She referred to as Mrs A. Mrs A says that in 2014, when Islamic State was rampaging through Syria and Iraq, BTN aired stories which she saw as taking a sympathetic view to ISIS. She goes on, they were brainwashing the kids. She resigned her job as a teacher. She's saying it was putting the thought into their heads that ISIS was our fault. It was a sympathetic view, making out like ISIS were there because we were there. At home they were hearing the same thing, and then they were coming to school and having it reinforced. It just shouldn't be shown in schools. She said the show made things worse in the classroom. Kids would be jumping out of their seats, pumping the air, saying, "I hope ISIS kills them all." Some of these children had uncles who had gone overseas to fight. Are you familiar with this, Ms Guthrie?
I'm not familiar with it.
I would ask you to get familiar with it, please. Make yourself familiar with it. I find it's very concerning that we've got school teachers resigning their position, believing that BTN is having a wrong and a bad influence on inciting young students in our school and maybe pointing them in the wrong direction. I find that very concerning. Will you please look at that and review it?
Senator, as I said earlier, I have read that letter. I'm across the issue. I'm aware of BTN and its history as a program over a great number of years. I don't believe there's any substance to those concerns whatsoever. It's certainly not borne out by the nature of the content of the program. It's certainly not borne out by the history of any complaints against the program, and it's absolutely not borne out by any upheld complaints against the program on these issues. The program has a wonderful track record. It's widely appreciated right across the education sector, and if the teacher concerned wishes to approach us with her specific concerns about specific content, let me assure you and her that we will, as ever, investigate those and use our independent complaints investigators, and if she's not satisfied with that, then the regulator stands ready to inquire it as well. But I found that to be a most unfair and not in any way accurate attack on what is a fine program.
So, Mr Sunderland, you're saying to me that you didn't see any substance in what that story said?
Absolutely.
So you're either saying that there's no substance, or that the teacher and Miss Miranda Devine are not telling the truth?
No, I would never suggest that for a moment, Senator. I'd never
no
want to impugn
be...
the views of those individuals and their experiences. They're perfectly entitled to them. What I would say is that there is nothing in the track record of that program that would indicate there is any substance to that, and in the absence of something specific we can wrestle with on a particular program or a particular item that allows us to give it closer scrutiny, there's nothing that I can act on or would want to act on, because the program's reputation speaks for itself, and its reputation in terms of upheld complaints as well as its content.
Well, I hope you're correct.